Hi, my creative peeps. It's Craftin' Just Because with Cowan. And today we're going to be playing with the Celebrate Sunflower bundle. And we are going to be making these cute little Post-it note holders. They fit the mini Post-its. And so I'm going to tell you what you're going to need. Don't worry about writing down the directions, because if you click on the link below where my blog is, you will have all the directions and a video to show you how to do it. So what you're going to need is you're going to need a piece of the In Good Taste Designer Series paper, and it's cut at 7 1/8 by 2 1/4. And then you have a piece of Night of Navy cardstock that is 2 3/8 by 2 7/8. And then you have a mini Post-it, and you're going to be stamping and coloring on a scrap of Whisper White cardstock there. So we're going to move all this aside, and we're going to bring in our In Good Taste Designer Series paper. And on the 7 1/8 inch side, we are going to score this at 1 5/8 and 3 3/8 on both ends. So here's 1 5/8. I'm going to score, and then 3 3/8 and score. And then I'm going to flip it around, and I'm going to score it at 1 5/8 again, and 3 3/8 again. Okay. Then we're going to set that aside, and we're going to bring in our tiny little Night of Navy 2 3/8 by 2 7/8 piece of cardstock. And on all four sides, we are going to score it 3/8 of an inch. So we're going to score it 3/8. I like to use the right-hand side when I'm doing something less than an inch. Okay. Now that that's done, we're going to move our Stampin' Trimmer. We're going to bring in our bone folder, and we're going to we're going to burnish those score lines. So essentially what you just made with this designer series paper is like an old-time book cover. Remember when we used to cover our books for school? So that's what that looks like. Then we got to burnish the score lines on our cardstock and break down those fibers so we can get a nice crisp box. Okay. Then on the short side, you're going to cut up this to the score line and wedge out on the little square. Cut up the score line, wedge out on the little square. Just like that. And you're going to do that on both short sides. Cut up the score line, wedge out. Cut up the score line, wedge out. Okay. Now, what you're going to do, you can use any adhesive you like. I'm going to use my multi-purpose glue because I found with these tiny little tabs, it makes it easier for me to manipulate it. So you're going to put that in and then line up the edges to form that box. And you got to kind of hold it for a minute because you're using liquid multi-purpose glue. And then follow along and do all four corners. Just like that. I'm going to do these both at the same time. Oops. That little wedge didn't come out. Okay. Line that up and line that up. Okay, you're going to set that aside to dry. While that's set aside, you're going to take your little book cover, you're going to take a hole punch, and you're going to take, and in the center, you're going to cut out a half circle. So it's not going to be a whole circle in here. You want it off the edge. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. See how it's off the edge? Now I'm going to line that up onto the other side. And I'm going to cut out that side. Okay. Now what you're going to do is you're going to open that up. You're going to take your tear-in tape, and you're going to take tear-in tape and put it from that edge to that edge. Okay? Then you're going to take your release paper off. Just like that. You're going to take some ribbon. I'm using the Daffodil Delight ribbon here. And I'm going to put that right down onto the tear-in tape. And you need about a 12-inch piece of ribbon. Then you're going to feed the ends through the hole. Okay, on both sides. Okay, once that's done, you're going to take your liquid multi-purpose glue and you're going to glue down the flap here. So glue that down. I like to take my bone folder and rub it down, make sure that's nice and glued down. Now you're going to do your other side. Glue that down. Okay. Bring in your multi-purpose liquid glue, or sorry, your tear-in tape. And you're going to put 2 strips of tear-in tape down on the back of your box. Take off that release paper. There we go. Now you're going to stick your box down right into the center of the back flap. And then I like to run my bone folder over that to make sure it's nice and glued down. You're going to take your Post-it notes. I'm taking the Know That You Are Loved stamp and stamping that in Night of Navy ink. Now I think this would look better if it was done with a yellow Post-it, but I bought this variety pack and that's the only color I had left. So I'm using it just for this project. Really quickly, I'm wiping that off so I don't get ink everywhere. Okay. Now for the speediness of this video, okay, so I'm going to place that in my Post-it note holder. I had stamped using Memento ink on Whisper White cardstock, but then magically I have it colored in, and I used Daffodil Delight Stampin' Blends, the Mango Melody Stampin' Blends, the Soft Suede Stampin' Blends, and the Old Olive Stampin' Blends. Okay, so now I'm going to just push this together, or tie it together, I mean, not push it. And I'm going to tie a bow. And play with it till you get it exactly how you want it. Then I'm going to take my sunflower and I'm going to add some dimensionals onto the back here. And I'm going to adhere that to the front of my Post-it holder. Just like that. So there's your little Post-it note holder. Thank you guys for joining me today. I always love crafting with you. Until next week, I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.